So today somebody asked me to help them with a peace lamp, and so I thought it'd be a really good opportunity to record while I was getting up to it. Now, as you can see, I'm using dried leaves because I don't like using the Botanica powders. Honestly, I really don't enjoy the taking things that I have no idea where they came from. I like having a connection to the origin of whatever it is that I use. So I buy dried leaves and crushed leaves so that I can incorporate them into my work. Now, what you're seeing here are eucalyptus leaves, and what I'm doing is cutting away snapping away the stems and getting the leaves and taking 17 to put in there. Then I believe I pick up the rosemary and place them all over. I like to even each layer of herb that I use. I wanted to use rosemary because it can bring you closer to the people you love and push away negativity. Afterwards, I put some basil in there so that we can add a spiritual element. Basil is very important within Vodou in terms of spiritual focus. Typically, I would have put basil at the base of this rather than eucalyptus, but I didn't have basil today, so I replaced it. Then I pick up some anise stars. I put 7 out of the ones that look good from what I can tell in my hand. They don't need to be exactly whole, but they do need to be 7 separate pieces. The rosemary and basil crushed leaves didn't really matter. Once I'm done with the 7, as an important spiritual number, I incorporate it in there. So once I'm finished, I can start pouring oil. I'd go with sunflower or olive. Olive is an amazing base for lamps. I like sunflower just because of the abundance aspect of things, like grapeseed for abundance as well. But olive is the typical base that a lot of people use within lamps. It's a general kind of oil. Then I take my cotton and I fold it into the mesh. Now this cotton mesh is basically going to be like the wick if this were a candle. Now, lamps can be a little tricky, not for the fan of heart, or for beginners. And so if you're not used to using them, it's totally okay. Just watch how I prepare it and make that flat bottom using some of the oil that dripped on my hand to get it together and making sure that there's a point, because that point is going to be what holds the flame steady after I find its place at the base of my lamp. Now, the oil isn't tall enough, so I'm going to add some to the bowl after I'm done kind of fine-tuning the pointy wick at the top so that it can stay in place for whatever it is that we are lighting the lamps for. Obviously, this is for peace. Now, if you can't do lamps, that's okay. Try doing everything I just did, but putting it inside of the candle before you lit it. You can use the same oils or just use some of the herbs that I mentioned. Obviously not the same number, but you can place them inside of the candle as I'm pointing, crushed in smaller quantities, and light the candle. If you don't want to use a 7-day glass candle, you can also use one of these candles. Bigger is better if you wanted to do a longer burn, but the small 6-inch household ones work as well. Only you would rub it all over the candle using the oil to hold the herbs together. Now let's get back to our lamp. As I am a bit experienced with lamps, it's what I prefer. I'm gonna put away my candle. Now I'm going to light the lamp at the wick. The fire was burning, but it stayed steady at the end of it all. I lit my lamp after setting intentions for my friend and then proceeded to let it begin burning.